Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Do You Believe the Middle of June? Conquer the Clutter podcast. I hope everybody's well. We are going to do part 2 of online shopping because online shopping is not, or problematic shopping, even if it's not just online. It's not a small problem for people. And then at the end, I've put together a little tool that I use in my counseling practice, and I'm going to show you folks. And it's called, I have titled it CBT Yourself. Now, CBT is just a fancy name for short form for cognitive behavioral therapy. All right. And cognitive behavioral therapy is not the be all and end all in treating people who have a hoarding issue. But CBT can be a useful tool. And it's particularly a useful tool when you can do it to and for yourself in the moment. So that's why I want to expose you to it. And you can take a screenshot of the tool when I put it up at the end, okay? Or I could probably send it out to, if I'll take the, if a screenshot is not successful, I'll try to copy the participant list today and send it out, or maybe just attach it to the podcast when we finally get it posted, whatever way works best. Anyway, let's start. We're going to start with a very short recap because when we finished last week, that last part about who and why was particularly important. And of course, it comes at the end of an hour-long podcast when people are probably not at their most alert. So, who is particularly susceptible to, in particular, online shopping, but not just, it can be in person as well. It's just not quite as easy to do in person. But those who are especially vulnerable to overuse of excessive acquiring, whether by online shopping or not, are those people who might prefer to buy anonymously. All right. And sometimes that prefer to buy anonymously is prompted by just a desire, particularly enhanced now post-COVID. We've just been through a war, people, in that fear of exposure. So the buy anonymously and avoid social interaction. Now, there is an overlap between what is titled clinically pathological, I call it problematic, impulse buying, and anxiety. Does that surprise anyone? All right. If you are feeling anxious, don't you look for something to quiet the anxiety? And there's nothing like a little excitement or a little jolt of joy. The only thing is, as we discussed last week, with online shopping or problematic shopping, you're being manipulated by marketing. All right. That free will element of being able to distance yourself, back up from the impulse. You've got 6 ways from Sunday that the marketers are trying to prompt you to close the deal. All right. Now, the anxiety that is especially vivid in online shopping is when you are either temporarily or more longer term anxious because of social anxiety. All right. So that's for people who don't comfortably tolerate crowded malls, lineups, that the patience it takes to shop and find. And COVID, as I said before, added to the reality of that social anxiety. A lot of people now who didn't have before have just that little bit more anxiety about being out with other people who may not be prudent, and there's no way to know it before you find yourself exposed. All right. So now that predisposing factor to deal with how crowded malls and social interactions, lineups at checkout counters. Buying online is fast, it's easy, and sometimes it can feel like the perfect solution, but you know yourself better than anybody else. Ask yourself right now, how susceptible are you to making more of an impulse buy or overbuying, all right, going for one thing and then being intrigued by a few other things? How susceptible are you? You be your own judge. Is online shopping your best answer? All right. Because it actually increases the incentive for you as an individual to avoid social interactions. Remember, we've talked about habits. The thing you do the most, you habituate. And you can habituate it very easily to the point of it almost being an involuntary automatic response. The more you do something, the easier and more likely it is you will continue to do it. So the question is that any part of what you're experiencing right now? How many people would have to say, or would want to say right now, that problematic impulse behaviors like shopping are some piece of the reason that they are at this podcast today? Can I see hands up? It's probably easier to do hands up than the go to your reactions and figure that one out. Okay, most people. Good. Okay. How many people then have experienced, and this is not about it being legitimate, all right? It's about our human response, what we do to ourselves to cut ourselves off at the knees. How many people, after they've done that, you don't have to put your hand up now, okay, feel shame or regret following the rush of the excitement? And that excitement doesn't last. How many people can really say that rush, that excitement doesn't last? It certainly doesn't last. When you're looking at payoff and tradability, all right, I don't think I'd trade shame that lasts for as long as I can remember I did it, all right, to that little jolt of joy I get at the excitement of the buy. We're there. All right. And you can attribute this, you can apply this to other forms of acquiring as well. It's just that problematic online shopping is much easier to do. All right. Okay. Online shopping can make that shame, regret, that legacy even worse, because the reward of having a wide variety, that's the other thing. There's no end to the products that you can be tempted by when you're on a particular site. Okay. And the constant availability of items, except for, that manipulation, the countdown. There are only 6 left and there are 10 people looking at this site right now. You're going to miss out. You don't even think about what the item is. You think about, I don't want to be a loser. I want to win. And by the time you realize that it's cost you mightily, all right, maybe not in dollars, but in repeat behavior you didn't want to engage in, you've already lost. All right. It can be, and they want it to be, seductive. And surprisingly, that online shopping that for a moment creates real satisfaction in people, all right, especially those who like the ease and the variety. Or are you one of those people who wants to have the latest model? Somehow I have this, but this is better. This other thing is better. All right. You need to be those people who find this seductive. Okay. You need to realize there is no shortage. There is no hurry. There is no misdeal, because those online shopping sites never close. And whatever item you don't get now, there will be something the same or better coming. And they lead to frequent indulgence. you are more likely to go back once you've crossed that line. All right. Especially because you don't have to dedicate really any time or effort. It's sort of like, I don't know, numbing out, you know? How many people have found, though, that it's not really the item that creates the craving? It's the going to the sites that you like the most and just kind of drifting, just kind of surveying. How many people find that really relaxing? A little seductive. Because remember before when we talked about the cue or trigger, the routine or the behavior, the reward, and when we've got that connection for habit building, hopefully positive habits, when we've got that repeated enough, we create a craving, but a craving that is a positive, a craving for the legitimate reward. Online shopping has a way of creating that craving, but it's the craving of being held hostage. Not just in the moment, but in the repeat, the curiosity. I wonder, I'm just going to go and look. How many people here have said, I'm just going to go and look and see what's on. I'm not really thinking of buying. And then they have found slippery slope right downhill. All right. That's the design of these sites. That is not your failing. All right. That's what you were meant to do by the way these these sites rather, have been created. And don't forget, we talked the last time about anything you express interest in. You don't even have to hit a button. You just have to stay on a site long enough. And they are formulating an algorithm that is specific to you. Your wants, your needs, the things you seem to be interested in, but also your weaknesses, your vulnerability. That's what that algorithm is about. Go get her and close the deal. Do whatever you have to do. Portray this and couch this in whatever way you need to close this deal. And that little excitement, that little bit of pleasure that you feel remember this, those jolts of joy are not real joy. All right, they're temporary. And how many people, when you look back at the times you've done this, or when you feel vulnerable to doing it, how many people realize that it might be a substitute for there isn't enough legitimate, honest joy that you can count on in your life, that day, that moment, that period of your life? Anybody here, hands up, find that really, you know what? It was the one way I could count on getting a little bit of excitement or a little bit of pleasure, because there wasn't enough in life at that time. Okay. So the third type of situation or person who is more likely to be susceptible are those who are seeking instant gratification. All right. Desperate. Are you in a deficit? That's the first question to ask yourself. Why do you need such immediate gratification? Are you in such a deficit that when you seek immediate gratification, you automatically go to the one place you know you can get it? It's going to cost you. You might regret it. All right. Watch your credit card bill come in at the end of the month. But in that moment, it's successful. Has anybody here made that trade-off? Because those purchases are just one click away. And I've even had some people tell me that it's not even the purchase sometimes. Sometimes when you are more of a discriminate shopper, okay, there are certain types of things, certain qualities about things that are of particular interest to you and you're more vulnerable to, you keep going and looking for the same manufacturer or the same producer. All right. And you can form a relationship with them. All right. So that quick satisfaction, all right, feeds into the cycle of an unhealthy craving. And the search and acceptance for rewards that are not rewards. A reward is not a reward, no matter how good it feels, if it's followed by shame or regret. All right. So also online shopping websites and shopping channels in numerous ways turn out to be something like an auction site. You ever been to an auction? All right. And you have that sense of immediacy, that sense of time is running down. You're going to miss the opportunity. Even television ads these days are designed that way, to create that sense of urgency. The moment you feel that urgency in yourself, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it first? Is it in your chest? Is it in your breathing? Is it in your mind? Where do you feel it? And when you feel it, all right, if you keep an eye out for it, you know where you feel it first, catch it then. Because anytime you feel that sense of urgency, unless the house is on fire, there is ephemeral bleed or projectile vomiting. Those are the three cases, okay, where you don't back up. You automatically just let yourself go limp. You don't act on it when you feel that sense of urgency, because you're being worked. So the countdown, we talked about this, of the time left before the deal expires or the number of items is missing, increases. If you came into this site looking for a haven, kind of a distraction from anxiety, depression, boredom, loneliness, you're looking for solutions, that level of anxiety is being used against you. All right. All right. Now, and it's being used before. They're so skilled in the marketing ploys that they use that you're hooked by the time you even realize you're hooked. Okay. The best decision for each and every one of us when we're in that situation is to move yourself forward. All right. More toward the person you want to be and you deserve to be. Whatever it is you're looking for, if you're feeling that craving, that excitement, that rush, it probably isn't just about the purchase. It's probably about some deficit you're feeling inside. And it's never, ever, ever going to lead you to where you want and need to be. All right. I'd like you folks and myself, when I find myself, I've got something in a cart right now. It's going to sit there for a while, because while it's a great item, I'm not thinking it's the great item it is on a 5'2" woman, because the model looks to be about 6'2". And I'm thinking that outfit kind of needs a longer stretch. Then I'm going to look like a compact little whatever in it, but I'm going to think about it. All right. So not right now. Is anybody hooked on sites that induce the craving? All right. When you browse the product, online, targeted ads, sponsored ads, what about the pop-up ads? All right. The pop-up ads that crop up. I think I told you the story, and it's a true one. When I was headed off to Uganda last January, Steve is my lead crew, we were talking about the different things you need for Uganda. And one of the things they said is, don't come without gaiters. All right. You have to wear gaiters when you go into the jungle. And so the gaiters hadn't arrived. Well, lo and behold, I am not kidding you. It was not 5 minutes. We weren't searching sites. We were talking to one another. All right. And within 5 minutes, Steve on his phone started to get pop-up ads for gaiters and trekking gear. Do you believe it? They're listening at all times. All right. So let me have a look here. All right. Just want to. All right. I want to move forward here with, do you know enough about yourself as a shopper to know what are the items or what are the circumstances where something feels irresistible? Do you know? Do you have a strategy for how you put yourself on hold, on pause, when you are looking at those types of items, or you are in that kind of mindset? Right now, I'd like you to take 1 minute, and I would like you to put down on that paper and pen I asked you to have, I would like you to write down 2 different types of things, or 1 type of thing if you're a real specialist, and the mindset you're in if you end up being susceptible to finding something absolutely irresistible. Higher probability than not that you're going to move forward and at least buy it. Telling yourself, you know what, if it doesn't turn out, I can always return it. What's the mindset? What are 1 or 2 items that you're particularly susceptible to? Got it? Okay. Now I want you below that to write down, I want you to do a scan of yourself in that situation. Where do you feel it first? Do you feel it in your chest, in your breathing? Do you feel it in your head? Your mind is going 100 miles an hour with stick handling logic to make it make sense. Where do you feel it? In your stomach? Where do you feel that pull, that pressure? Now I want below that for you to do one more thing. I want you, knowing yourself as you do, I want you to put down 1 way, 1 strategy, all right, for you to put yourself on pause so that whatever decision you do make, and I respect your right to make that decision, all right? 1 way that you can put yourself on pause so that whatever decision you make, it is a voluntary free will decision, not a you being manipulated and worked decision. What is the 1 way that you can put yourself on pause? For those people who don't have a successful way, I'm going to give you 1 way, okay? Try it. Try it until you come up with something better that works for you, not them. Okay. Here's what I would suggest you do. Put your phone down or turn the TV off, whatever device you're using, put it down. All right. Go to your front door or your back door, it doesn't matter, a door, and step outside into the fresh air. And ask yourself 1 question. What do I need? And is this it? Right now, really, truly, what do I need? Was I looking for this? How do I know that this thing I'm being tempted by is actually the thing that's going to deliver the goods? Okay. All right. So let me line myself up here. All right. Because once you've made the click, all right, it's harder to go back and change your mind. The truth is, many of us enjoy the convenience and the immediacy of online shopping. However, some of us are more susceptible to it reaching a problematic level. And it doesn't have to be online. You have the same rush when you're in the store. It's just that going to the store means we actually have to get ourselves socially acceptably cleaned up, which is one thing that maybe we don't want to do, and online is so much easier. Okay. How many people here, just while we're talking about problematic acquiring, all right, it doesn't have to be just online, have had the way you've handled it in the past lead to problems at work or in relationships, or even just with the healthy balance of your financial life? How many people?
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah. How many people, with respect to problematic acquiring, doesn't have to just be online, all right, although it's more likely to be because it's easier, all right, have had that problematic acquiring lead to problems at work? Some people are going into the washroom with their cell phones, all right, and they're in the QB and they're actually shopping, is what I'm told, all right? Or if not at work, in relationships in your lives. Has problematic acquiring caused problems in your relationships? Are you being criticized? Are you being shamed? Are you in conflict with somebody about it? Or has it developed to the point where it's interfering with the best, healthiest financial balance that we all need in our life, no matter how much or how little we have? Has that been an issue? So, how do you know if you've got a problem? Okay, here we go. What are the signs? There are 10 signs that you might have a problem with problematic shopping or acquiring. 1, do you say, I feel like I can't stop? I worry about the next temptation. I don't have confidence that I will be able to say no, or that I will make a decision that I won't regret. Even if I wanted to stop. Or I've tried to stop without being able to stop. I've told myself this before with little or no success. And yeah, online shopping or problematic shopping has hurt my relationships, has caused conflict with partners or family members or friends. And they're concerned. They're concerned for me, and I resent them asking me about it. I know that they make comments. I end up in arguments with them over it. Or I end up having to justify myself like I'm a child, like I don't know. I think about online shopping all the time. I can hardly wait to get back to the device I use to kind of drift and see what's on offer. I almost do it automatically. You know how some people sit down and read a book? Some people sit down and have a coffee. Some people have a nap. Some people walk their dog. Some people call a friend. I pull out my device, my iPad or my iPhone or the TV, and there I am. You know what? I'm just looking. I'm just curious. And when I can't, for whatever reason, when I can't do that, it affects me. I get grumpy, or I get upset, or I get anxious, I get agitated, I can't relax. It's my best way to just relax, even when I don't intend to really shop or buy anything. Online shopping is the only thing that helps me relax or feel better. Even just the looking. I don't intend to buy. I just do it. I'm curious. Another way we know we have a problem, if we do, is that when I buy, no matter what it is, all right, I hide things that I buy. Why? Because I'm afraid that other people will think it's unreasonable or a waste of money, or, even groceries. This can even go to groceries. If 2 for 1 is a sale, I'll take 10, please, without asking myself, where am I actually going to store this stuff? And even when nobody makes a comment, when I come home, I hide the things. Maybe I don't take them out of the car right away. I wait until bedtime and then I go out and get it, or I put it in the garage, or I put 2 or 3 bags in one bag, because I know that when they look at me, they're thinking, huh, and I feel that they're thinking poorly of me. Another way there's a problem is I often feel guilty after I go shopping. And when I don't buy, I don't feel happy. I don't feel happy. I feel like I just missed that crash in the middle of the intersection. I don't feel relieved. And here's another way. That tendency to drift and surf the net and whatever way I do shop, or curb trawl. I'm out walking and people have put things down at the sidewalk for free, and I don't need them, but you know what? I have a plan that I could do something with that, or that's too good to throw out, so I bring it home. And I spend less time doing other things, even other things that I also enjoy. And I spend less time doing other things because I spent the money. I spent my resources on those other things that I was tempted by. If I really looked inside myself, I have to admit, quietly to myself, certainly not to anybody else, I often buy things that I don't really need. Or I might have needed one, but I bought a whole lot more than I planned. I go in for a reasonable number of things, and I end up with way more than that, even to the point that I can't actually afford it. It's on my credit card. All right. It's taken out on my debit card. So if you think you may have a problem, here are a few strategies to help you start dealing with it. And truth, there's no easy answer. Whatever we have habituated is the thing that is easiest, and we have made the most likely that we will return to. But you do have free will, and you can do this. It's just like going to the gym, all right? It takes effort, mental effort. All right, so understand first and foremost that most marketing, almost all marketing, certainly the marketing online, is manipulative. It's designed to make even the tawdriest bauble look like the crown jewels, right? The dialogue The sales pitch is always in some way, this is the solution for you. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good about your body. You don't feel good about when you go out that, you know, you look nice, you're representing yourself well. This piece of clothing will do that for you. This purse, these pair of shoes, this tool, this whatever. It's the solution to the thing that bothers you the most about you and your life. This will help you overcome that little aggravating problem you have in your everyday life. Okay, so first, let's look at the obvious. When you start to be aware of that, why is the online shopping channel actually on? Why? Why, when you're aware of that, you start to be aware of that, do you not turn your phone off? You have that choice. All right. Okay. So, are you ready to represent you rather than to get dragged along behind the pressure to buy? What are you afraid that you're missing out on? Look around you. Do you really need this item? How is this item different enough from perhaps something you already have? Okay. A good exercise to do is turn the TV off. That ad will still be there. It's coming back. Okay, it's coming back. You're not missing anything. All right. Turn your phone off and then ask yourself, this item that I'm being tempted by, let's do a pros and cons list. Why is this the right thing? 10 reasons why this is the right thing, or however many you feel you need. On the other side, what do you have right now that until you saw this thing was perfectly good enough? What choices do you have right now? And then list those choices. Are you getting kind of caught up in the novelty of the new? Are you treating the online shopping channels, I'm not just, well, even the shopping channel, but even the phone, you know, the sites, you know, the pop-ups, my gosh, they're a dime a dozen. Are you using that as a safe and easy form of social connection? You're kind of in contact with other people, particularly if you bought more than a few items from one of the sellers. They probably feel like you know each other. That can happen, perfectly reasonable. However, you do realize that if you weren't buying, they're not going to call you socially to go out for lunch. They are your friend. And I'm not saying they're terrible people. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that they're manipulative. But they actually don't have an interest in you. So be careful where you give your loyalty. Be careful where you give your time. Because when you give it to people who have no investment in you as a human being, as a person, that transaction only works one way. All right? That's like looking in the mirror and saying, this person likes me. I feel good when I'm dealing with Not so much. All right. The thing I really want you to do is to look in the mirror and say, does the person I'm looking at right now in the mirror like me? And do I like them well enough to put them first? What do I need? All together now, 3 questions. What do I need? Where is it? And how do I get enough of what I actually need to make the difference? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Let's spend about 15 minutes. I'm going to jettison this and I'm going to go down to the bubbles. You're going to see what I mean by the bubbles in just a minute. Okay, now cross your fingers, people. I'm not a techie, but I'm hoping that I can screen share. Okay, where are we? Ah, look at that. I think I did. Can you, where are we? Come on down. Nope. I don't see your screen. All right. Well, that wasn't an unqualified success. Let me see, screen share. Hold on, people.
We can see your screen.
You can see Zoom though, or can you see the bubbles?
Yeah, CBT yourself, then thoughts.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I have liftoff. Jeez. For somebody who's not a techie. Okay, I'm going to bring it down here so I can see it myself. And I'm going to open it up. All right, now I'm going to just put this down for a sec here so that there we go. Okay, all right. This little tool I put together.
It's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore? Is it there now? No? Okay, hold on. I don't know. You are screen sharing. Hold on. Is it there now? No?
Yes.
It's there.
Not the whole thing.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. There we go. And I will bring this up like this. All right, there we go. Good. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Sorry. Did I mention I'm not technical? Okay. So, all right, good. Now, this is a tool that I kind of morphed a little. I can't take credit for it. I certainly can't take credit for cognitive behavioral therapy. And cognitive behavioral therapy is not always the best tool, but it is very helpful in the immediate. It's a clear, succinct, honest, when you're honest with yourself, reflection of what you're thinking, what you're experiencing, and what you need. So it starts out with, there's an event. It could be any type of event. We can use shopping right now, but it could also be anything that is causing anxiety, anything that you have to make a decision about, and making that decision isn't easy. All right, you need to sort stuff out. Okay, so as a result of the event, that prompts thoughts, and the thoughts we have are specific to ourselves. They represent our history, our fears, our values, our desires, our emotions, so that you can have more than one thought. All right, so you have this little bundle of thoughts, and the thoughts prompt both, and this is involuntary. You don't get a choice here. This is the way your system works. Those thoughts prompt 2 things. They prompt feelings, all right, and they prompt physical sensations. Your body has a physical response, okay? Physical response. And you have an emotional response as well, feelings. That's the point at which, before you invest, as soon as you're aware of your physical sensation, that's why I always ask you, where do you feel it first? That's your alert. All right, that's your alert. Where do you feel it first? And each of us feels whatever the combination, that mass of boiling thoughts is. Some people feel it in their head, some people feel it in their fingers, some people feel it in their chest, some people feel it in their gut, some people feel it in their back, in their neck, in their, where do you feel it? Answer that question for yourself right now. You've got a difficult choice to make. Where do you feel that physical sensation? And that I want you to really pay attention to, because that will always be your first alert. All right. Okay. Now on the feelings, before the physical sensations, you see the arrow going across to feelings. Okay. So which I want you to be aware of this. So the thoughts prompt feelings, but you can see that that arrow is not as long. All right. It's automatic. All right. But the physical sensations overload the feelings and make the feelings big, 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 big. All right. Much bigger. You can feel the load. So the way we go into and get lost in our feelings, get hooked, get trapped by our feelings, is because we're getting it not just from our brain, which is where the thoughts hang out, but also from all the different parts of our body that are experiencing physical sensations as a result of the thoughts. Feelings get double loaded. All right. That's why we need to put ourselves on pause, because that double loading overwhelms us. At the point when we just go, not now, no, 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 I'm going to take a deep breath here and I'm going to sort this out before I make my behavior choice. All right, before I do that. And I'm going to go over to this other little bubble, which is always there. Write down these questions to yourself. All right. This problem, this event, how did it develop? How did it develop? When did it develop? Is this a recent thing? Is this a repeat? Does this remind me of 100 other situations that I've been in? I didn't like it the last time. Here I am again. What else was happening at the same time? That's perhaps part of when this problem happened. Here's a biggie. Here's the biggie. How is that problem or situation that I need to decide about? How is it being maintained? There is something that is feeding it. How's it being maintained? Make sure it's not being maintained by your feelings, because your feelings are exaggerated. It's not just you. This happens with me. It happens with your psychiatrist. It happens with everybody. That's the way the system works. How is this problem or situation being maintained? Next big question. What prevents it from being resolved? What prevents resolution? What is preventing that? Is it the overload of feelings? I'm on a runaway train, freight train here of feelings. I can't tell you what I think. I can't tell you when it started. I'm just over. Bring yourself back. Don't make any decisions till you get yourself centered again, because it will not be the answer that satisfies you and solves the problem. All right, next question. What of my thoughts? Was it negative? Was it reality-based? Was it emotional thinking? Was it even factual? Never go to fear. We can end up there, but never stay there. Never go to fear, go to fact. Where is the best information available? And there is always a source of best information. All right, never go to fear. All right, what of my ideas? Do I have certain blind spots? Do I think a certain way? You know, the problematic thinking styles? We'll do that next week. The problematic thinking styles. There are 11 of them. Am I pulling one of those out of a hat? And it really is not serving me well. What of my beliefs? All right. My beliefs. Who I am. And are your beliefs fact-based? Are your values? Is this something that touches a value of who you are, represents your identity, how you define yourself? Are any of my, where am I? I've lost myself. Thoughts, ideas, or beliefs supporting this? They're involved, they're occupied with this event or problem. Next thing. What reactions do I have? Not your feelings, but your reactions. When you've actually taken yourself through these steps, and it takes far longer for me to say this than for you to do it. All right, this is not a full day's work. What reactions do I have? Thoughts, feelings, physically. And if you can catch yourself at that midline where feelings got double loaded, you've gone and you've triaged, pushed yourself on pause and triaged it with these questions, you are far more likely to make a favorable and productive behavior choice. If you can stop yourself right there at the physical sensations and don't let the feelings, which are double loaded, take over, go over to the bubbles and process yourself. Why me? Why now? What keeps it going? What prevents it from being resolved? Is basically 4 questions. All right. Then you make the best behavior choice that you're capable of at that moment with all that information, because whatever the outcome is, if it's a poor choice, if you freight trained through, you didn't ask yourself any of those questions, you didn't put yourself on pause and give yourself a chance to rethink this as rationally as well as emotionally, you're going to freight train to an outcome, and that is the meaning you're going to apply to it. Whereas if you do put yourself on pause, you ask yourself basically those 4 questions, all right, you're going to come out with a much better behavior choice, and the meaning that you apply to it will be far more productive for you. All right, so let me come on back to this now.
Elaine,
Yes. Yes.
I got 3 of the 4 questions and I put them in the chat. It was why me, why now, what prevents it from being resolved? And
No,
number 4 is?
Number 3 is what is maintaining it. And number 4 is
What is
what
maintaining the problem? Okay,
from being resolved. Yeah.
got it. Okay, thank you, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring you back. How was that for people? Now, there's a lot of words there in that side bubble, but it's 4 questions. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why now? What is maintaining it? And what is preventing it from being resolved? And do you see where if you catch yourself in that, the event and your thoughts are automatically going to prompt feelings and a physical sensation, but you don't let yourself dwell in the feelings, you come over the physical sensations are going to happen automatically. You go to those 4 questions, and they're kind of expanded a bit, because why me is going to be about your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs, your fears. All right. And that is a lot of the hidden power behind your feelings. But if you put yourself on pause and you give yourself a chance to process that, you will make a far more better for you behavior choice and a far better meaning that serves you, because you have run it by who you are, balancing your feelings and the rational part, both sides of your brain. This little exercise here, I get my counseling clients to do it on the run. Okay, step away from the situation. 4 questions. All right, 4 questions. And it's a really great way to put yourself on pause and to come out with a me, not a fearful response or reaction, but a me response, a me as I am today, who I am, my thoughts, my feelings, my fears, and my beliefs. So when you're looking in the mirror, asking yourself, is this a good thing? Is this a good decision? Remember to be true to that person. Don't be true to whoever or whatever is judging you or trying to prompt you to do something that is not in your best interests. And that applies to everything, not just hoarding, not just shopping. That's just a way to guide yourself so that you respect yourself and you end up with your needs being met. Now, sometimes we can meet our needs and we can also meet other people's needs as well if we're in relationships. This isn't all just about me, 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 me. But it's not a healthy relationship if it's not reciprocal. And reciprocal means my biggest needs and the other party's biggest needs are being honored and respected. They're being considered. Okay, I have to run now because I have to go to this other sad situation, and wish us luck. And I will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Can I ask one super quick question, Elaine?
No, I've got to go. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'll email you.
Okay.
I'll email you.
All right. Take care.
Good
Thanks,
luck.
Elaine.
Good luck.
Very
Sorry,
helpful.
you
Bye.
have a sad thing. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
everyone.
Can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.